Hey everybody, Coach Krapek here from Edge Fitness and Strength here in Indianapolis, Indiana, bringing you another video as part of our series talking about metabolism. In video 1 of this series, we talked about the calories out portion of the calories in versus calories out equation. Within that calories out, we talked about total daily energy expenditure, or the amount of calories you burn throughout the day from your normal basal metabolism to your activity levels and even the thermogenic effect of food. Remember, 70% of the calories that you burn are due to just your basal metabolic rate. So your metabolism that just keeps you alive before any activity or digestion. We're going to kind of take that a little step further in how we use that number to determine how many calories we need to take in to help us reach our goals, but not only that, help protect our metabolism. All right. So I made up a graph for you guys here. If you recall, our basal metabolic rate is comprised of a lot of different things, and it's altered by a lot of different things. Your height, weight, age, activity level, but a big part of that is the amount of lean muscle mass you have. So regardless of your goal, or how much weight you want to lose, how quick you want to lose it, we always focus on trying to maintain as much lean body mass as possible while dropping body fat. The mistake that a lot of people make when dieting is losing weight too quick and being really excited they lost 20 pounds in a month, but not understanding that a good portion of that was lean body mass, and that's going to make it really, really hard to maintain that body weight loss going forward. All right. So right here in the middle, this is our maintenance calories. So this is equal to your total daily energy expenditure. Now, there's a lot of different calculators and stuff online that you can actually get a pretty good estimate of those. One is tdeecalculator.net. Very simple. You add in, or you put in your age, height, weight. You can put in your body fat percentage and then choose an activity level based on how often you work out, what type of job you have, and what type of lifestyle you have, whether it's very active all the way down to sedentary. So this line right here, so this is calories in versus calories out. This line right here is your equilibrium. So taking in exactly the amount of calories that you burn throughout the day. In that case, there's going to be no change. So you've not added energy or a surplus of energy or a deficit of energy to your body. So your weight's going to stay the same. All right. Now we have different lines along this spectrum. So ideally, we want to stay relatively as close to that maintenance level as we can to avoid any negative downfalls. So we'll start with the fat loss side of the spectrum. All right. At a very slight caloric deficit, and this could be anywhere from 50 to 100 to maybe up to 300 or 400 calories a day deficit, you're going to see some fat loss. But because you're not in a humongous deficit, you're going to be able to maintain your muscle mass. Now, this is with the caveat that you are actually doing strength training. All right. What I mentioned before in video number 1 is the body likes to be really efficient with its calories. It really only cares about just keeping you alive. So if muscle is very expensive to the body, that's why the higher lean body mass, the higher metabolism, because muscle is expensive and it uses calories to maintain itself. If the body senses that, oh, we're not using this muscle as much, we don't need it, you will lose it. All right. We talk about in undergrad classes, one of the principles of strength training is if you don't use it, you lose it. All right. So if you are actually using your muscle and you're not in a severe caloric deficit, you're going to be able to maintain that muscle mass as you slowly and gradually lose body fat. This is the ideal. All right, this is what we want to do. And that's a very hard thing to tell people is you have to be patient. All right. One of the reasons I absolutely hated the show Biggest Loser is because it put that image of, oh, I can lose 40 or 50 pounds in like 2 months and get the body I want. And they see magazine covers and ads for supplements and all this stuff that frustrates me as a coach in the fitness industry about quick weight loss. You can lose weight quick. You can only lose body fat so fast. So if you're losing weight very quickly, it's not just body fat. All right. So if we take it into a little bit farther, maybe you want to be a little bit more aggressive with your fat loss goals. Maybe you have a really significant amount of weight to lose to where it's a health issue if you don't, get on it right away. With a moderate caloric deficit, this is probably around 400 or 500, maybe even up to 1,000 calorie deficit, which that's maybe a little more on the severe side. You're going to have a lot of fat loss, but you're going to have some muscle loss. Again, really, in this case, is really only if you just really need to lose weight for health purposes, not because you want to look good for summer, but really for just health purposes. Maybe you can get away with a little bit more drastic of a deficit, but you're going to see a little bit of muscle loss. That is one of the unfortunate parts of eating a low-calorie diet. Now, when you see crash diets, or a lot of times when people are removing an entire food group or entire macronutrient from their diet, and they go into severe caloric deficit, all right, this is where you're seeing people lose 20, 25 pounds in a month or something like that. People are cheering them on. You feel happy that you accomplished a lot, but what you don't realize, you may forget, is that you're really losing a lot of muscle, and you're going to make this very, very difficult on yourself going forward, because now your total daily energy expenditure, because you're losing body mass, all right, is going to drop. And that's going to make it harder for you to maintain going forward. It's going to make you harder to stay right here. All right. So let's say, I'll use myself for example. My total daily energy expenditure is right around 3,100 calories. All right. I've been in a slight caloric deficit for the past about 12, 14 weeks as we get ready for vacation. Now, because I'm a coach and I'm always thinking about these type of things when I'm doing that, I limit myself. If I lose more than 2 pounds in a week, I up my calories because I might be in more of a caloric deficit than I think. Because remember, even with that calculator, it's a rough estimate, and that's a moving target, that total daily energy expenditure. So I try and stay between a slight and moderate caloric deficit, because losing this body fat, all right, I want to stay strong, I want to keep a good amount of lean muscle mass, but going forward, I don't want to rebound and gain a bunch of fat back because I wrecked my metabolism. All right, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, on the other side of the equation, the muscle gain. All right, as guys, the typical year of a guy trying to get in shape is a bulking and cutting season. So let's say it's the end of summer, you look good for the summer, and I just want to build some muscle. Guys tend to eat like pigs to build a lot of muscle, but the same way that your body will only lose fat as fast as it wants to, same thing with muscle. You can't rush either of those processes. All right. So what a lot of guys do is, oh yeah, it's bulking season. They're jamming down cheeseburgers and wings and all the food to shovel in because they're just trying to build as much muscle as we can. So on that other end of the spectrum, the severe caloric surplus, all right, you're going to have a max amount of muscle gain. Again, due to genetics and hormones and protective measures by your body, you're only going to build so much muscle in a given amount of time. Remember, the body doesn't want to hold on to a ton of muscle if it doesn't need it. So I could go on and on and on about all the genetics and the biochemistry of that, but you're not going to put on muscle super quick. And that also goes out to the ladies. You are not going to get big and bulky from doing strength training. All right, remember that your body takes a long time to put on muscle. You can tell I'm a little passionate about that. All right, even with guys, we have a lot more testosterone in our body. We're only going to put on muscle so fast. So if you're in too far of a surplus, you're going to gain some muscle. Your metabolism is actually going to go up, and I'll talk about that later. But you're going to put on a lot of extra body fat, so when you go back into a cutting cycle for getting ready for summer, you've got a lot more work to do, all right? So ideally, you want to be in a moderate caloric surplus of about maybe 500 calories a day. For guys, if you're regular trained, if you're an absolute beginner, you can tend to put on maybe a little bit quicker. But if you've been working out consistently, about 1 pound to 2 pounds a month is really about as much as you're going to get out of a really good strength training program in caloric surplus. So more of a moderate surplus, you're still getting basically the max amount of muscle gain. You're getting just a little bit of fat gain. All right. There's no real difference between how much muscle you put on between here and here, but you're not putting on as much body fat, and that's going to save you a lot of hassle later. Ideally, the same way with the caloric deficit, we want a slight caloric surplus, just enough extra energy beyond what our body burns to build tissue and store additional muscle mass. All right, they were seeing some muscle gain, but no fat gain. All right, so there's both ends of the spectrum there. So if we overdo it one way or the other, we're going to see negative effects. If we stay relatively close to our total daily energy expenditure, but a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on the goals, you're going to incrementally make progress without not detrimenting yourself long term. All right, so right up here, this is kind of the sweet spot here. If you want to lose weight or gain muscle, staying within about 500 calories either way of your total daily energy expenditure is going to be ideal. Again, it's going to require you to be patient, be consistent, stick with your training program, and hopefully you won't fall off track there. Again, we want to make progress, but not have such a huge trade-off on the other end. If you're wondering, all right, shut up about all the science. I want to know how many calories I need to eat so I can reach my goals. Again, go find that calculator online. Just type in TDEE calculator. There's a ton of them on there. And that's a good rough estimate of your number. Now, in future videos, we're going to talk about how we can get that total daily energy expenditure to increase and what things we may do that will actually decrease. So another issue beyond losing muscle that'll affect our total daily energy expenditure with that severe deficit is that not only are we losing muscle mass, but remember, the body wants to stay efficient. It just is worried about staying alive. So it will slow you down. So you'll notice when you're on a real severe diet that you're sluggish, maybe not sleeping well, your workouts are going to start to suffer. So remember, not only is that 70% BMR going down because we're losing muscle mass, our activity levels are going down, and because we're eating way less, we're also burning less calories digesting food. So there's 3 different ways that's going to affect us that make it harder and harder and harder to actually lose weight going forward. Slight or moderate, the total daily energy expenditure will go down a little bit over time, especially as you lose body weight, or if you lose a little bit of muscle mass, your calories out will decrease. That's why you need to make adjustments in the future as your body weight goes down. But you're still going to have enough energy for your workouts. You're still going to be able to train really hard. You're still going to have energy throughout the day. And again, you're just setting yourself up for success in the future if you're in a slight or moderate deficit as opposed to a real severe crash diet deficit. We've got a couple more videos coming your way on this very topic. One of them is, one thing we hear quite often is like, man, I'm only eating 1,400 calories a day and I'm not losing weight, but I put my numbers in the calculator, it says I should be eating 2,000 calories. What the heck? That's a big sign that maybe we need to do what's called a reverse diet. And that's one of the topics we're going to talk about in an upcoming video and show exactly how your metabolism reacts to weight loss and the caloric deficit or surplus. All right. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Shoot me an email at jason@edgefitnessstrength.com and be on the lookout for more videos of this series. Thanks, guys. Take care.